This is Casey Annis, editor of Vintage Racecar and Vintage Roadcar magazines. I'd like to tell you a little bit about a recent opportunity I had to test drive the 1963 Shelby King Cobra that was raced by Dave MacDonald to a very historic victory in the LA Times Grand Prix. In 1963, the Shelby team chose to field a pair of specially built sports racers to compete in select professional road races that were going on at the end of that season, most notably the Los Angeles Times Grand Prix and the Laguna Seca Grand Prix. These were high publicity events with extremely large, for the time, purses. In the case of the LA Times Grand Prix, over $15,000 in prize money, which was unheard of at the time. The weapon of choice for the Shelby team, which fielded both Dave MacDonald and Bob Holbert in those events, was a Cooper Monaco chassis that had been combined with a small block 289 Ford V8 motor. I was a little apprehensive about driving the King Cobra, being its reputation during the period for being a rather loose car, as evidenced by pictures of Dave MacDonald doing these lurid tank slapper turns at Riverside. When I got to Sonoma Raceway and saw the car, I saw that it had been restored exactly as the car had raced in 1963, which meant with no roll bar of any type and no shoulder straps. So here's a car that has a notoriety for being extremely loose and difficult to drive and a bare minimum of safety essentials. So that gave me a little bit of apprehension when the car's owner, Bill Hartman, generously offered to let me take it out around Sears Point. Once we got a few low-speed laps, which you'll see in some of the car-to-car video here, out of the way so that we could get some photography for the magazine article done, I had an opportunity to really start to open the Cobra up and really get a chance to see what it was capable of doing and how it was really going to react at Sears Point. Much to my surprise, it turned out to be a far more progressive car than I had imagined it would based on the reputation that it carried. Going into some of the turns, you could either exert either understeer or oversteer depending on how you approached the turn and basically how you drove the car with your right foot. In that respect, it's much like its brethren like the Cobra or the Shelby GT350 in that you really have to use the accelerator pedal to get the car pointed in the right direction and use it to modulate the car in and out of the turns. Once you get your head around that, the car is surprisingly predictable and just a blast to drive because you can really drift the car and place it anywhere you want just by using that accelerator pedal. The car is obviously an earlier precursor to Can-Am cars, so it doesn't have quite the same feel or quite the same acceleration as some of the later monocoque cars that would come along after it. But it's surprisingly a really enjoyable car to drive here at Sears Point, where taking it down through the S's where you get that feeling of back and forth through the left-right combinations, and then obviously squeezing on the gas and opening up that 289 engine, the car just squeezes your eyeballs back in your head as it accelerates through the gears. It was really an incredible opportunity. Had a great time driving the car. I really have to thank Bill and Edward Hartman for giving me this rare treat to be able to drive this very historic race car.